and I am here to talk about books. Our book talk for this time around is a good collection, a nice variety of some books to talk about, so let's get right into it. Just some information before we start about how these slides are set up. We do have on each slide the title and author of the book in the top left corner to give you information so that if you're putting a list together or keeping track of books that you're reading, it'll be easy for you to jot those down, as well as, of course, when you come down to the library, you're going to be looking for books by their author's last name. So for example, with this one, if you were going to look for it, you would be looking under McNeil because it is the author's last name. So you'd be going into the mystery section and looking in the M authors. We always have the cover of the book on our slide as well, so that it makes it easier for you to find. And in the top right corner, the genre listed so that you can locate it on the shelves when you come down to the library. If one of these books in our book talks are a book that you're looking for, you know which genre you need to go to by looking for that sign on the shelves, and then again, looking by the author's last name. With that, we're going to go ahead and jump right into our books for this time around with some great books to share with you. The first one I'm sharing today is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This one shows up in our fantasy section and is a fantastic read for those that love, a fantasy story, but any story that has a little bit of mysterious magic thrown in. We're going to take a look at a book trailer for this one. I think they do a fabulous job of sharing this book with you in a way that maybe I'm not able to convey. So let's take a look at what this book is all about. Who doesn't want to read a story about someone with magic, extraordinary magic, someone who was an ordinary child, and then get a chance to find out if this child is going to manage to unlock that magic within inside her and defeat this evil witch that's kind of at the center of the story, and so much more. The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. Anyone who has read this book always comes back to the library and tells me how much they loved it. I hope that that's true for you as well. If you check this one out, go to Fantasy, look for that sign in the library, and then look under the B authors because you're looking for Barnhill. Our next book is The Last Dog on Earth by Daniel Ehrenhoft. This is in our science fiction section, and anytime I talk about this one, it reminds me a lot of the movie Zootopia, if you ever saw that one. It's the story of Logan, who has this dog, and he and the dog are just best friends. If you have a pet in your life or have ever had that animal that has just felt like this companion, you will know that relationship between Logan and his dog, Jack. Well, Logan hates everybody else. He doesn't really have friends, doesn't connect with his family, and his dog Jack. She also does not connect with anyone other than Logan. So the two of them have this bond that is unbreakable. Jack is in really grave danger in this story, though, because there seems to be some kind of disease, a virus of sorts, that is sweeping across the country and is causing animals, dogs in particular, to become these vicious predators. And so far, Jack remains uninfected. But Logan's parents are not certain that that's going to remain. And so they've decided they're not going to wait. They're going to remove Jack from their family and, in fact, have her put down so that she can't hurt anybody and can't get sick. Well, Logan does not want to wait around until that happens, and he decides that he and Jack need to run away together before his parents can do that and before she gets sick. What will happen when they do? You've got to read The Last Dog on Earth to find out. It is in science fiction because of this disease, but really there's so much realistic stuff that happens in the story. I loved the adventure. I loved the suspense. It's just a really compelling story. Check this one out in sci-fi under EHR. Deep, Dark, and Dangerous by Mary Downing Hahn. Wonderful mystery writer. Any of her books are just fabulous if you're looking for those kind of eerie, the hair standing up on the back of your neck kind of stories. Maybe not the ones that are going to keep you awake at night, but definitely creepy enough that you might be left thinking about them long after you've turned that last page. This is a favorite story of mine. It moves quickly. It's not a terribly long book. It's about Allie, who is almost 13. She's going to go spend the summer out in Maine with her aunt and her cousin. And before she goes, she finds this photo in her attic at home. And in the photo, she recognizes two of the people as kids. One of them is her mom, and one of them is her aunt, this Aunt Dulcie, who she recognizes. There's a third person, though, in the photo, and she can't tell who it is because the picture has been torn. And so she can just tell that there was a third person in the picture, but can't tell who it is. And she asks her mom, Mom, who's in this picture? And her mom gets very, very, suspicious, I guess is the right word. She won't tell Allie who's in the picture. She gets very quiet about it. She won't talk about it. She changes the subject. And this is not like Allie's mom at all. So Allie is wondering what's going on. She figures she'll find out when she goes, out to stay with her aunt and her cousin. Well, unfortunately, that's not what happens. In fact, only more questions are raised, especially when she meets this young girl named Sissy, who Allie's cousin really seems to be drawn to. And Sissy brings up this story about something that happened out in Maine where they're staying a number of years ago. She said there was a girl named Teresa who drowned under these mysterious circumstances, and her body was never found. She said it happened back when Allie's mom and Dulcie were kids, and no one ever found out exactly what happened. Okay, so all these mysteries swirling about what can Allie find out and how? And is Sissy telling the truth? Does she know what's going on? Get to the bottom of all the secrets in this book, Deep, Dark, and Dangerous by Mary Downing Hahn. Look under Hahn in the mystery section. Out of My Mind by Sharon Draper might be a story you are already familiar with, and if so, maybe you'll want to take a look at her sequel, Out of My Heart. Both are found in realistic fiction. If you've not yet read this one, it is one of my all-time favorites. The story of Melody, who is not like most people, and thank goodness everybody is different anyway. She has cerebral palsy, and as a result of it being so advanced, she is not able to walk or talk, but she does have this photographic memory. She is incredibly bright, in fact, smarter than most of the adults that she works with. The classmates that Melody has, that she works with in her classroom, don't have any idea how bright she is because she can't communicate it. And it isn't until some technology comes along that she's able to finally show a little bit of what she knows how to do. Melody is determined. She is one who perseveres. She refuses to be defined by her cerebral palsy, her CP. Check out this book, Out of My Mind. It is inspiring, and you will just fall in love with this character. It's by Sharon Draper. Any book by this author is well worth your time in realistic fiction. Zach's Lie by Roland Smith. It is the first in a series, and it could be read on its own for sure. It's found in Adventure. This is the story of a guy named Jack. And yes, I didn't say the wrong name here. Jack Osborne's life changes forever the night that men in masks break into his home. Jack and his family are threatened, and their home is completely, torn apart. Jack has no idea what's going on until he finds out his dad has been living kind of a secret life, doing some drug trafficking. And it's led to all of this happening for Jack's family. Well, with his dad getting into major trouble, Jack, his mom, and his sister are forced to enter the witness security program, or kind of a witness protection. And Jack and his family move to Nevada, where Jack becomes Zach. They all have to change their names. They get new identities. They're starting completely new lives. Zach, or Jack, can't tell anybody what his old life was like before. So he's meeting new people, he's making new friends, he's at a new school, and he has to make up everything. Who he is, where he came from. He can't tell anyone the truth about where he'd been. I loved that part of the story because I can't imagine how hard that would be to do. Being a new kid at a school is hard enough as it is. Well, just as Zach finally is beginning to piece together this new life, he finds himself in danger again. Take a look at Zach's Lie by Roland Smith. You will not be able to put this book down. The last one I want to share with you today is by Jason Reynolds, a fantastic author of all sorts. He writes books in our sports section, in realistic fiction. He has such a great sense of humor in everything that he writes. He's got poetry. He's just got something for everyone. And this is the first book in his sports series, the track series. And it's all about a kid who they call, as a nickname, Ghost. Well, Ghost's real name is Castle, and he has always known running in his life, but it's not because he's been running for a track team. Let's find out a little bit more about this story in this trailer.
I probably hold the world record for knowing about the most world records. In the world record book, it says some dude named Usain Bolt is the fastest man. I never heard of him. Some of these kids probably have. Especially that guy.
Woo! Come on, king of the track! Woo!
Lou's still the one to beat.
I don't know about that.
Kid, what are you doing? Trials were last week.
Just blow the whistle.
You get one run. You hear me? I'm Coach Brody, and I run the City Defender track team.
And?
I work my contract, that's why they call me money maker. Even if you run a double team, I'm still gonna take them. A simple play becomes the game winner. Watch me shake them. The fourth quarter, the time is now. For the first three goals, we just grind them down.
Okay, newbies. In order to get dinner, you have to tell one thing about yourself that most people don't know about.
Well, my dad's in jail for trying to shoot me and my mom. That's how come I know how to run so fast.
All you do is want to talk to me. I don't want to stop him and knock you in the next Friday morning.
Hey, sweetie, come on, let's go. We gotta get going. Let's put your shoes on. We gotta go now.
Don't make me do this, Terry!
Go, run!
Don't make me do it, Terry! Ghost, can't run away from yourself. Ain't nobody that fast.
We will not be defeated.
Take a look at Ghost by Jason Reynolds. Again, it is the first book in a series of 4 where you get to know all these kids that are a part of this track team. I hope that one of the books that I shared with you today is something you might want to pick up at some point this year, and a reminder that you can always be looking on that Destiny Discover catalog that I came into your classes to talk about. You can take a look at those books, do some shopping that way. Sometimes these books are checked out. You'll want to be putting things on hold. So be sure that you're doing a lot of your own browsing and taking a look. Come down to the library, look at the shelves, look at the books that are on display. Do some of that browsing as well so that you have some other ideas in mind. Thanks so much for your attention. Happy reading.